Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers, she's a Republican of Washington, chairs the House Republican Leadership Conference, and we welcome you, Congresswoman. And, for the first time in a while, we're not all obsessed with the fiscal cliff. We've had our attention diverted to Connecticut, and I know we all send our best to the people of Newtown, Connecticut today. I can imagine you're adding to that, yes?
Oh, yes. It's just devastating. It's awful. I'm a mom. I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and like any parent, we can't understand what has happened or the grief that they're going to be enduring, and our hearts go out to them, our prayers go out to them, and anything we can do at this point, we're ready to do it.
When we last left the negotiations, Speaker Boehner went to the White House yesterday. Did you hear anything? Was there any progress made there? What's going on right now that you're hearing?
Well, it's encouraging that there's at least some discussions. We need those. We need the negotiations, the good faith negotiations to come forward. The Republicans believe that it is very important that we address the spending, the out of control spending, the debt that we've accumulated. Raising taxes, raising tax revenue doesn't solve the problem. It is just it's a Band-Aid to the underlying problem. And so we need that framework, and that's what Speaker Boehner and the Republicans are hoping that we can accomplish by the end of the year.
So what have you heard from Speaker Boehner from that meeting last night with the president? We know that your position. We're just trying to figure out where we are in this. What have you heard from the last night's meeting?
Well, we have heard that the president continues to call for higher taxes than he called for in the campaign, almost a doubling. He's wanting unlimited debt ceiling increases, which we just can't go there. And so we also are hearing that he's calling for more spending, another stimulus, and the Republicans. To make this happen, we need the spending cuts. We need that to be a part of this framework.
But if you get that spending cut, if you get a sizable amount of spending cut related to the drivers of the debt, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, are you willing to accept higher taxes for the rich? Just to get a deal done?
The Speaker, the day after the election, went to the podium and put new tax revenue on the table.
I don't mean new tax revenue. I don't mean new tax revenue. We know you've got new tax revenue from tax reform. I'm talking about higher tax rates. Are you willing to swallow that?
On the top 2%.
We want to have those good faith negotiations so that we can start putting together that framework. The Republicans believe that we can get revenue through tax reform. We need to give that certainty to middle class families and also to the economy. But we have to be careful that we don't further damage the economy moving forward. And so that's why tax reform is so important.
So then the answer is no. You don't want higher taxes. You just want to get that revenue from tax reform.
We want to start with the revenue. We want to start with the revenue and the negotiations, the good faith negotiations.
The New York Times this morning laid out 3 possibilities that apparently Speaker Boehner has been laying out to you folks on the Republican side, and one of them is the possibility that we don't get a deal by the end of the year, and he waits until March when the debt ceiling comes up for debate once again, and it is at that point that we are all held hostage again, as we were in August of 2011. Is that a distinct possibility? Is that part of the strategy now by the Republicans in this issue?
Our hope is that we can put together the framework now so that we don't find ourselves having this same debate 3 months, 4 months from now. This is our moment to address the big issues, the pressing problems that face this country. And it's driven by the record deficits, $1 trillion deficits, and the debt. And that needs to be addressed.
And as Maria pointed out, the quid pro quo that the president is requiring right now is the tax increase on the top 2% income earners in this country. And we can't get a single Republican to come on the air right now and say they would vote for that in order to get a fiscal cliff deal. And I include you with that now, Congresswoman. You're not answering the question.
The Republicans have put forward new tax revenue. We have moved that way. We need the president to bring the leadership on the spending side of this equation. We could raise the top 2 to 100%, and it would only fund the government for 91 days. And when we put tax revenue on the table, closing loopholes, closing those tax deductions, the wealthiest are going to be paying more in this country.
I don't think anybody expects the top 2% increase to be the only solution, but but it is a key part of the negotiations that the president has laid on the table, and we can't get anybody to agree on that.
To be fair, we haven't been able to get any specific spending cuts from the Democrats side.
I agree.
Either. So,
I agree. Everybody's talking past each other.
They're also spinning this. Real quick, are you aware of the number of layoffs that will happen if we go over the fiscal cliff? How bad will the economy get in the first half of the year if we go over the cliff, Congresswoman?
Well, CBO has estimated that the tax increases would be up to 2 million jobs lost. The sequestration, the across-the-board cuts that take effect would be up to $1 million in defense jobs that would be lost. We don't want to go over the cliff. We do not want
2 million jobs. You're comfortable with that? 2 million jobs, and we're still not getting any specifics from either side. Thanks, Congresswoman.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, we're in the final stretch.